It is exactly 8:07 p.m. on Tuesday, July 29th, 2025. I literally just got off the phone 2 seconds ago with the Greenville Group. I left them a voicemail, did not speak to anyone. It is after normal business hours, and had to leave them a voicemail after lying on my bed for the last hour and a half, trying to relax and rest after a very busy afternoon of online meetings, and was getting electronically assaulted by the same directed energy weapon that Jasmine Irizarry, the Greenville Group's paid and sponsored career harasser, has been using on me for years, and literally uses every single time I lie on my bed in the evening. It's like every day. It's almost like clockwork. Every evening when I lie on my bed after a busy day and I'm just lying there trying to rest, I'm fully clothed. I don't lie there in weird positions unless you count lying flat on your back, a weird position. And she gets all electronically aggressive with her various types of electronic assault devices when I lie on my bed trying to rest. This continues to happen in such an unbroken and almost painfully predictable pattern that you have to wonder why nobody does anything to stop it. It's embarrassing for the Greenville Group to have such a mentally disturbed psychopath like Jasmine Irizarry engaging in the use of a directed energy weapon that she has admitted to using in writing on a regular basis. Like, why don't they do anything about it? They're obviously the ones paying and sponsoring her to do this. Directed energy weapons are only available to certain types of people and groups in the United States. They are available and commonly used by Russian operatives, groups, and persons, according to CBS News 60 Minutes. CBS News has made 3 one-hour-long documentaries over the last few years regarding the use of directed energy weapons by Russian groups, persons, and individuals to electronically assault American citizens in their own homes. These American citizens are simply private people. A lot of them are retired military. And for some reason, the use of directed energy weapons is very common on private American citizens who are retired military by Russian groups and operatives. The property managers of this multi-building complex are Russians from Russia, the Kritnik family, and their property manager, Oleg Lisayev, is also Russian by name and speech. Or maybe he's from the border of Russia and Ukraine, but, you know, at that point, it's like saying, oh, you're from northern Maine or southern Canada? Okay, whatever. Not much of a difference. Ms. Irizarry has been praised by Mr. Lisayev on multiple occasions, all in-person conversations that I was having with Mr. Lisayev, usually when I was bringing concerns to him about Ms. Irizarry's constant criminal harassment and her evident use of surveillance devices and hacking technology to interfere with my personal activities and work-related obligations when I'm in the privacy of this living space. And Mr. Lisayev's response to my concerns when I brought them to him in person, verbally, was to praise Jasmine Irizarry's abilities as a hacker and a cyber criminal, as well as a expert at using surveillance technology. Mr. Lisayev admitted that what I keep saying about Jasmine Irizarry is exactly what she keeps doing. There is absolutely no way that I can possibly get electronically assaulted with a degree of precision and timing that I continue to get electronically assaulted unless there are obvious surveillance devices being used in this living space. I actually found a surveillance device in my bathroom approximately 9 years ago when my vision was still perfect. And it was located on the wall across from my toilet. And it looked like a little black paint splatter, like a tiny little dot of a paint splatter. And it was black and shiny. But then when you looked at it closely, you could see that the shiny black plastic was covering a lens-like object on the inside. And it was so small, it was literally not much bigger than the tip of a Sharpie pen. And I thought, what the heck is this? And I thought, I need to scrape it off. And it wouldn't come off. And I realized there are no other black paint splatters like this anywhere on this wall. So this isn't a paint splatter. It's something that's stuck to the wall and looks like a little tiny eye. When I called the Greenville Group about it, their maintenance guy came up, I don't know how long thereafter, and was scraping things off the wall, and that device was scraped off the wall and was never seen again. But it doesn't mean that it was the only one in this living space. In fact, obviously it wasn't, because people keep telling me that they can see what I do in here. And even coworkers over the last few years have made comments about things that I do and have in the privacy of this living space that have nothing to do with anything that I was showing in my YouTube videos. I did not start showing my living space in YouTube videos until 2 years ago, but the comments made from coworkers regarding what I have and do in this unit goes back to 2015. So I just left a voicemail for the Greenville group because I'm unable to lie on my bed right now, relax and rest as I need to without getting electronically assaulted by the same exact directed energy device that Jasmine Irizarry has bragged that she's getting paid $300,000 to use, and that she has mounted on a tripod, and that she's aiming it at my head, et cetera, et cetera. I'm so sick and tired of mentioning this, but it needs to be mentioned in every video because this is a aggregate channel, a data aggregate channel. So the other thing that I did not mention to the Greenville group during the voicemail I just left, but that has once again began to occur, is the water to this tap. It cannot be used. It is showing some very obvious, clear and consistent signs of contamination. It is tacky, gritty, and gluey. And if you see all these empty water bottles right here, these are the empty water bottles I've had to empty out because the water that I keep pouring into them from this tap is too sticky, tacky, and gritty to use. It's almost like someone is dumping glue into the water. I mean, that's what it feels like, and that's most likely what it is. There's no funny smell. So for once, the water doesn't stink like someone's 50-day-old unwashed feet, when the smell is certainly not coming from my feet. And it doesn't smell like vomit. And the vomit smell always comes straight from the tap. It has nothing to do with me vomiting. I haven't vomited since before the pandemic. So the vomit smell doesn't come from me. It comes from the tap water. That is evidently being tampered with by the Greenville group's sponsorship of Jasmine Irizarry, who has also admitted to contaminating the water to this unit. Ms. Irizarry made several written responses to videos that I made about the use of a saddle valve against the intake pipe to this unit. There is an intake pipe that runs across the back of this entire wall that brings fresh, clean water from the Boston water supply down on the street up to this floor and across this wall and into my bathroom. And then that pipe seems to continue into the hallway, but I'm not sure about that. That's the intake pipe. It is very easy for anyone who has access to the pipe from the other side of this wall, which is where Jasmine Irizarry seems to spend a heck of a lot of time, and certainly has been spending most of her days, nights, and entire life over the last 10 years, literally glued to that wall. Now she's directly below, or somebody who behaves like her is directly below in 76, but there's still someone also accessing 78. And all you need to do, if you have access to the intake pipe to somebody's tap, clamp a very cheap, easy to purchase saddle valve that you can get at any hardware store onto that pipe. The saddle valve has a nozzle attachment, and then you can pump in whatever filth you want into the water to someone's tap. And that has been happening over the last 12 hours. It started happening yesterday evening when I was filling up this basin right here to try to do a little hand washing and fill up some water bottles. And as you can see, I still haven't been able to fill up these water bottles with any water from this tap because the water to this tap has been continuously tacky, gritty, sticky, and gluey to the point where it's almost thick with some kind of gluey additive that can easily be added in if whoever has access to the pipe from the other side of this wall used a saddle valve. Back to Irizarry, she made comments on my YouTube videos regarding the topic of a saddle valve, bragging that she's putting boogers in the water to my shower and that I should enjoy the boogers in my hair. But she also said she's not using a saddle valve. So then the other possibility, if a saddle valve is not being used to pump in filth into the water to this tap and to my bathroom, is that they have connected the drainage pipe from the shower that's behind this wall to the intake pipe to this sink. And that's just as easy to use as a method of leaching contaminants into the water to this tap. If you connect the drainage pipe to the shower behind this wall, so that means the water that drains out of that shower and should be going down into the sewer. But if you connect a drainage pipe from that shower to the intake pipe to this tap and to the pipe that feeds water into my bathroom, then you can just as easily contaminate the water supply to this unit using the drainage pipe to that shower as you would if you were using a saddle valve. It's the same concept. It is a pipe that is being diverted and attached to the intake pipe to this tap to pump in filth. So right now I can't use the water to this tap. And if it continues, I'll have to call the Greenville Group again later this evening and report that their career criminal and sponsored harasser, Jasmine Irizarry, who's not just a IT expert, but she claims that she's also a, what does she call herself? Structural engineer, AKA plumber, that she's not using a saddle valve to put boogers to the water of my shower. So there you go. I don't have to prove anything. What I keep noting and experiencing and having to deal with on a daily basis is what Jasmine Irizarry has mentioned herself in multiple written comments on my social media pages. And her sponsor, Mr. Elisayev, has corroborated what she says and what I keep experiencing by bragging about her abilities as a career criminal. Well, you know what? Mic drop. I don't need to prove anything. I have their comments, some of them written. That's how you know you're dealing with stupid career criminals who are sociopaths and psychopaths and think that their criminal abilities and activities are something to rub in people's faces and brag about.